earlier in June 2013, AMD came out with the Richland series of APUs. I reviewed the 6800K. Today we're looking at the 6700, which is not unlocked, but it gives great performance. It's very close to the 6800K, actually, just 100 megahertz less on the turbo, and the base clock, as you can see, is less as well. But, 65 watts as opposed to 100 watts, that's a big difference there if you ask me when it comes to temperatures. We're going to be looking at that more in detail. The good thing about it is that it comes also with the integrated 8670D graphics. So you don't have to go out and buy a separate graphics card. Again, it's built in on the same chip. This is a quad-core chip, of course. It basically has two modules of two dual cores on it. 4 megs of level 2 cache. Here's the PC system that I'm going to be testing it on. I'm in the BIOS here, just reviewing it for you on the ASUS BIOS, the latest and greatest here that I have. I've updated it, and I've gone through the different screens, left everything at default just at the beginning, just to test it out. You can see the temperatures about 30 degrees Celsius on idle, 40 degrees Celsius on full load. Here I am in Windows. Taking a look at CPU-Z, you can see again, this is the defaults with it toggling, going back and forth, depending on the load and demand. You've got the turbo kicking in all the way up to 4.3 gigahertz, which is great. If I select high performance in the power settings of Windows, that will help lock in the turbo all the way up to 4.3 gigahertz, so there's no throttling back and forth. So I like to do that. I've done a separate video about this topic before. Of course, it uses more energy, but this is just a 65 watt chip, so it's low energy anyways. I love it. Now, looking at overclocking, going back into the BIOS, I actually settled at 114 megahertz on the bus speed, not 118, as you can see there. But the memory settings are 2200, which is great. Great improvements on the scaling, the dynamics of this chip to be able to adjust itself, less bottlenecks, more performance, great temperatures. Look at this. It's running at full load, 100%. It's only 40 degrees Celsius. Tell me that's not awesome. Now, here we are, again, temperatures, voltages that are matching 1.3 volts, as you can see there, running locked in at 4.2 gigahertz there. And the GPU, of course, is also overclocked. When I overclock the BIOS, it automatically does the scaling and dynamic changes for the GPU. So that's great. Memory is obviously running at higher bandwidth, so we're going to get great results out of that as well. Looking at some benchmarks in ADA64, the memory read, write, and copy. You can see these are the default scores that I'm getting, running the chip at default settings. Now here's the next screen showing you with it overclocked. So you can see how there's a huge jump in the bandwidth of megabytes per second there when you overclock it. That really shows the capabilities of these chips. Now, looking how it stands with respect to other chips, take a look there. You can see it yourself. Again, this is with it locked in on high performance with turbo going all the way up to 4.3, 4.4, depending on how fast the bus speed settings are. In Cinebench, running it at defaults, not overclocked, okay, but with turbo enabled, you can see there how it compares to other CPUs. Not bad at all. Again, this has an integrated GPU on it. Going into 3D Mark Vantage, default scores not overclocked. You can see there the CPU score 10609. Here are the scores now with it overclocked, and you can see here how there's a boost in performance, CPU score as well as 11548. So here is how it compares to other APUs if you're interested. PC Mark 8. I'm going to be using this going forward. I'll make a separate video about PC Mark 8 and what it has to offer, but there's two tests, the home test and the creative test, and it gives you good scores on different types of capabilities, whether it's graphics, chat, browsing, gaming, you name it. And we're going to be using this going forward to compare to different types of machines. So we're starting off with this one, and I'll do more videos about that. On Lost Planet 2, you can see here DirectX 11, low settings, using the integrated graphics that comes on the same chip again. We're getting very decent results on average, 40 frames per second. It ranked B. This is actually very impressive, considering that it's one chip built in, and we're not getting basically any overheating. Here we are again, low settings on other types of games, just to give you an idea on the frames per second that you would get. So for the casual average gamer, this machine might be more than enough. And of course, later on, you can upgrade and get a graphics card for it and increase and boost the performance even further. So you don't have to settle for this, but for now, to get you going, this might actually be a great choice. Here it is, $149 US as of this month, of course, and compared to the Intel Core i3, I believe this 6700 or the 6800K that I reviewed previously outdoes the Intel Core i3 big time. Now, I'd like to thank AMD for providing it. If you're interested in the other review, I'll add the link below. Comment, let me know what you think. And again, thank you for watching.